One, two, three. This is the Cider Ranch Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike.
Ready?
Okay.
Hello to all of our pizza crusts and chicken tendies, and thank you once again for dipping into another Cider Ranch. This is SOAR number 16, and we have a very special guest on today. He's almost at 850,000 followers on TikTok, closing in on 1 million. He's the CEO of Hey Mom, and we'd love to welcome Trevor Abney. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, really good.
Good, man. Trevor, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. This is actually the first podcast I've ever done. I did 2 on Discord. I haven't done one like face to face yet, so it's cool. It's cool to like put a face to the voice.
That's awesome.
I know that, yeah.
Sorry,
ahead,
Benny,
man. I was gonna say I know when we were starting to when we started them in our first to second ones, we're like is this something we can do? Because our very first podcast, I tell people just to skip it because it's just it's terrible. Really? It's just we're I think about 5 or 6 times I say, okay, so we can, we're gonna have great episodes in the future about talking about this and then it's like, okay, well, let's just talk about content, right? But
it's really hard, and I completely know where you're coming from because when I just started a YouTube channel and I've done 3 YouTube videos so far. It is so hard to talk to a camera, when you're not used to it yet. It's so hard. I don't know what it is. It's always just like or whatever. So, but
I've
been really bad with the uhs to start. Yeah.
The ums and the uhs are definitely something. Once you can kind of get through that though, even when you get 20, 30, 40, 50 episodes in, we're still going to be saying ums and ahs, man.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask you, you said that talking to a camera is kind of difficult. Do you find it's pretty different between TikTok and YouTube?
Oh yeah, it's completely different. Well, I think it's harder to hold the camera like this and I'm almost trying to force it in a way when it's not on TikTok, because on TikTok I'm doing more skits, so I have it planned out what I'm going to say. And on YouTube, I try to make it more organic and raw, to where it's more like I'm talking to the person who's viewing it rather than a skit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a different. I guess getting on the TikTok side of things, do you find the audience is different, or are you finding? Because I know Mike and I are already experiencing grinding with just making a podcast and popping out content and. I wasn't even aware of the importance of doing hashtags that actually brings you more kind of stuff. And it's just it's interesting because are you noticing a difference in your audience, or what might blow up and what might not blow up?
Yeah, well, the thing is that I guess I'll answer it. So you're saying the difference in YouTube, TikTok, Instagram type audience?
Yeah.
So TikTok is kind of everyone. I think TikTok is more haters and negativity, because that's my main platform. And then all the other ones branch off from the people that really like me, that sub to my YouTube and sub to my Instagram. So it's a lot more positive, and I get more constructive feedback rather than just you're worthless or fuck you, just random stuff like that.
Do you actually get that a lot on TikTok? People are sending you those kind of messages?
It's actually kind of crazy, because I never really did. And then I posted one video about how I was just talking to my camera. It was a 60-second TikTok, no filter or anything. It was just me talking. And I was talking about how I've lost, people aren't really open-minded to doing something like this as a career. And so I was just kind of talking about how I feel how people have kind of stopped talking to me or stopped hanging out with me because they think it's weird or, not normal to do stuff on the internet and stuff. And people just, it's everything you do is on the internet, and it's not even really like that for me yet. I can't even imagine the guys with 15 million, 20 million subscribers.
Sure. And it's funny you mentioned that, because Mike, we were actually chatting about something very similar, and we were talking about that and kind of that niche that you're experiencing about people, being oh, well, Trevor's doing this now. Mike and I were thinking it's very, it's really specific because, you know, it's like, you know, someone might be saying, okay, Trevor's, you know, trying out there to make a name for himself and he's becoming really popular. So like, you know, that might put people and go like, okay, well, Trevor's putting himself out there and he's being vulnerable to criticism, right? So, you know, oh, maybe I could be doing that. But it kind of, I think sometimes it makes people think like, because you're doing it and they're not, you know, it's harder for them to, you know, it maybe makes them self-conscious, which is kind of where the hate might stem from. You know what I mean? Like, because deep down they're thinking, maybe I could probably do that, but I'm not. I step on my bubble, or, you know, things like that.
I think it is. I think it is. And to go back to your question, I completely agree with that. But to go back on your question about hate, I kind of got off a little bit on that. Yeah, I think after I did that, it was kind of almost like 50-50. It was like people were saying stuff about, oh, like, well, it's not like a reliable career. And I just said, in the video, I basically said, why would I pretty much said college isn't for everyone. And if you want to do other things, I don't know why it's so abnormal to not do other things. Because I went to college for 2 years and I'm done with college now. And the only reason I actually went to college was to play college baseball. And other than that, I wouldn't have even gone. But I played 2 years of college baseball and I was kind of just done with the school part of it. So I stopped going, and basically the premise of the video was like, you don't have to like go on the straight and narrow path that everyone kind of goes to a university, spend $200,000 on school, and then be in debt for 15 years. Like I talked to guys, I don't know how old are you guys?
So I'm 29. Yeah, we're both 29.
So
I'm not 30 yet.
Yeah. So I don't know how the college system is in Canada, but here I talked to plenty of people that are older than me that are influencers like me that actually went to college, and they're like, yeah, dude, I'm still paying fucking $4,000 a month. Yeah. And I'm just like, I just feel like you don't have to. And especially now, everyone just follows a straight and narrow path of going 4 years to a university, just getting drunk every night, wasting your money, and then doing a career that 50-50, you probably don't even want to be doing it type thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Trevor, like it sounds like, cause you said you were 20 and yeah. I don't know too many 20-year-olds up here that seem to have that mindset. Yeah. Like, and I'm saying that in the best way possible, because you seem to really know what you want to do, but at the same time, you recognize the fact that, hey, I may not be doing what everyone else is doing. I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do because this makes me happy. And this is what I want to do. I don't care. And like you've even mentioned earlier that you had other people, like friends of yours, people that you know that don't want to hang out with you or don't want to maybe talk to you as much as they used to. But I think that kind of comes with it because they've been kind of put in this bubble for so long and they've been taught how to think and how to do and what path to follow. And like, hey, this is how you're supposed to make money. You're supposed to do this, have kids, grow up, blah, blah, have a steady job, blah, 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 make that income. But you're looking at it from a different perspective where you're like, hey, I can take this a different way and maybe I can do better.
Yeah. And I've always watched like YouTubers and all that. And I've always been really interested in it, but I should have started earlier because I remember I loved watching Vine and I loved watching Musically, but I never made videos. And all of these guys that are big right now, I don't know if you know them, but like Bryce Hall, like the dudes in the hype house, like those type of dudes, you know who they are?
Yeah. I've heard of the hype house.
I've heard of Bryce Hall.
So like those dudes all started on like Vine and Musically, and now they have like 5 million, and it's just easy for them. And I wish I would have started then. But on the same note, I also started pretty early on TikTok when Musically turned into TikTok. So I feel like I got a pretty good start on that. And it kind of actually started out as me and my girlfriend were just making random videos, and one of them got like 8,000 views, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I kind of got addicted to that, and I kept making them, and yeah, I mean, it was, but like I was saying, I've always watched YouTubers, and I've always known how much money they make. I'm like, they're driving around, they have fucking 4 like exotic cars, like their parents, like they have these huge ass houses, they're traveling all over the world, and I'm just like, why can't we do that? But it's a little bit different in the flyover states. Like there's not a lot of people that do that around where I am type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a little bit more abnormal to kind of make it in that
way. I saw some of your TikToks too, because you're saying like, hey, like if anyone's out, like I'm out right now, if anyone wants to hit me up, like to do a collab, like let's do it, right? Because that's how you keep continuing, right? And you keep that grind up, which is actually was going to be like my next kind of question. So like, I mean, you're just kind of mentioning with your girlfriend and how you started making videos, like how, so where, So I mean, let's get into it, because like, you know, I was asking about that earlier, but like where did you get your inspiration to make the whole, you know, hey mom, hey dad kind of thing? Like where did that come from? Like is this something you've just been seeing, or like did something you like dream about, like this would be like fucking hilarious? Like,
well, I think when I first started, like I think about it from way more of a technical perspective. I like that's hitting the core emotions as being relatable and being funny. And when I combine those two into a series, because it first started out being relatable, like everyone was in school and they called their mom from the nurse's office saying their stomach hurt because they didn't want to be there. Certain things like that, everyone's been through those things, or 90% of the kids that went to, you know, elementary school or whatnot. And so I think it started out being more relatable. And once I ran out of sort of like general, what everyone can relate to, I kind of made it funny and relatable. And it kind of just took off from there. I remember I saw one kid use the long face filter with the vibrato voice effect, like what I do. And that was at the beginning of January. And I made the one about what I just said about the mom would come pick me up, and it blew up. It got like 1.9 million views. And after that, I didn't really do another one because I didn't really think anything of it. And then I did another one. And then like a week later, I did another one. And like 4 days later, and then I was doing like 2 a day after it kind of just started to come together. And it was basically cool because it almost seemed like every time I made one of those videos, it blew up. So I was like, I wasn't even worried about it blowing up anymore. And that's kind of how it started, I guess.
When you say it blew, sorry, Benny. You go ahead, Benny.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say one more thing, because my wife loves you, and she said she wanted to ask how you know about the Kahoot thing, because she says that because she's a teacher, and she says like the dialogue there is pretty accurate for like what kids do. So how did you know to do like that? Like how do you know of Kahoot?
Well, because we always use Kahoot to study for tests, like the day before a test in high school or middle school or whenever, and everyone would just always come up with these outrageous names to just like make the teacher mad. And because it's anonymous. So I kind of just made that into a thing. And then one day I just said Kahoot weird, and everyone was commenting on how I said
so
Kahoot.
perfect, man.
Yeah. Everyone
I have that one video saved because you like your voice goes to like an impossibly high level of with the filter test, because it's like
that vibrato.
It's, oh my god.
Exactly. And and so one day I just said it a little bit off than how I normally say, and everyone was like, I watched this 3 times just to hear you say Kahoot. So then I started really dramatizing it, and people love it. And it's kind of funny too, because even when I say it so weird and it doesn't even almost sound like the word anymore, people still know what it is.
It's even better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The things, honestly, man, the things that get me is when you do your laugh beforehand. When you like you'll do like the laugh right before you say "Hey, Dad," and it just fucking kills me because sometimes it's just like, and it doesn't even sound like a laugh. It's like some alien. But I will watch that fucking 20 times in a row.
Do you know what gets me the most on your videos? It's like every one. It's like 6-year-old me, next one 4-year-old me, 2-year-old me, 8-year-old me. It's like it doesn't matter how old you are. It's still gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be the same thing.
It's like basically a little shithead kid is basically the little version of me.
That one, I watched that one of you, and it's like 6-year-old me, and you're like, "Oh, mom, I need help getting into the tub."
Yeah, I actually just reposted that one.
So did you mean to like, because the way you fell in, it just looked perfect. I was like, how that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just tried to make it. I filled up the bathtub, and I just tried to make it look as convincing as possible, me falling in. And
awesome.
And yeah, it worked.
That's amazing.
Man, it's perfect.
So how long does it take you to come up with these skits? Like, do you make a whole bunch at once and then record them all at the same time, or?
Yeah, everyone asks me that. It's so hard to say because the videos take me like less than 5 minutes to make, but the ideas take so long to think about, especially now when I feel like I've done everything already. Yeah. It really takes me a long time to think of new things now. Mm-hmm. But also now I've kind of got – go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro, honestly.
Also kind of now I've gotten off of the long face as much, and I've kind of went into different things because the way I see it is that was something that kind of blew me up, but that's not what I want to be in the future. So that people can see my face with the filter 1,000 times, and they would never know what my normal face looks like. So why would they have a reason to subscribe to my YouTube, to follow me on Instagram, to do any of that stuff? So when I when I think about what I want like a brand overall to be, I want like my actual face to be shown as much as possible. So everyone loves the long face filter videos. So I'm not going to stop doing those, but I've been doing one a day, one every other day now. And then like 2 or 3 other videos, including my face. Some of them are skits. Some of them are more like fuckboy things, like just anything that will get my face on the camera and give people a reason. Like either A, like they find just, I'm not like saying this in any way, but A, they find me attractive. B, they think I'm funny, or just for any reason. But I think it's really important to have your face on the camera, your actual face. So I've been focusing on that a lot more.
Right.
I've been preaching like the dad jokes one, like, you know, how do you spot a, you know, a blind person at a nude beach or whatever.
Yeah, I've been doing those. Yeah. I've been staying kind of
like,
on the comedy theme while showing my own face, and those videos actually do well. They get probably 50K likes each of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here's one, because one of your first videos on YouTube was the one with the like the Subway employee. So how did that come about?
Well, so I see him. I coach a baseball team, so I see him walking to work almost every day from the apartments in the way that I go to coach. And one night, it's really not even a long story. One night I just asked him, like, why are you always walking? And he was like, I just live in the apartments over there. I don't have a car. I don't have parents to teach me how to drive, and I'm 20 years old. And so I was like, well, why not just do something nice for him?
Good for you, man.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Have you always been like that? You've always been just a very just generous guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I really take inspiration from like FaZe Rug, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, David Dobrik, like those guys. I think that they do a really good job of hitting, like I said, it all goes back to core emotions. People aren't going to watch if there's no emotion involved, whether it's love, hate, comedy, relatableness. Like there has to be some emotion to get you attached to it. And that's love, and people like seeing love.
Yeah. You mentioned Logan Paul. I feel like he made quite a 180 in the last little bit with his career.
I have so much respect for him. I don't know why I love him.
Really? What? How come?
Yeah, I think first off, I think he has a really, really, in the last couple of years, he has a really fun personality that people like to watch. And that's why people watch him so much now. I think it's because of his personality. Also, some things that a lot of people don't think about is his vlogs are only 5 minutes now, which is only 1 ad per video. So he's not making the double ad revenue. He can make his vlogs easily 10 minutes and 2 seconds to get the double ad revenue just for the money, but he doesn't do that anymore. And that's something that I see that a lot of people don't see. And that tells me that he's not really in it for the money anymore. He's doing it to make people happy.
Right. Has he come out publicly and said that? Like, is he actually?
No. It's just something I noticed. I mean,
interesting.
Literally, if you look on YouTube, if you just go on YouTube, like on the Discover page on your main feed, you'll probably see 90% of videos 10 minutes and 2 seconds, 11 minutes and 5 seconds. They're all over 10 minutes because everyone is greedy and wants the ad.
The second ad.
Yeah, they want the second ad, and that's double the money.
It's like the PewDiePie 10-minute 1 second thing. You just get to that 1 second. He'll even joke about it about 8 minutes into the video. But, all right, we got to get this video to 10 minutes. How do we do this?
Exactly. And I think that to people like me, that speaks a lot on how much he's changed. Also, I think that he's taken inspiration because I don't know if you know, but every single one, I think David Dobrik has 700, and he's Canadian too, I think.
I think he is, yeah. No.
He's like Belgian or something. But he takes every single one of his vlogs is 4 minutes and 21 seconds long, and I have no idea why. But even if you go back to his very first video, it was always 4 minutes and 21 seconds, and I have no idea why. But I think he takes inspiration from that. I think also, aside from the money of it, I think that it's just shorter and to the point, and it makes people stay. But like, again, looking at it from how I look at it, I think the money part of it is like says a lot about him now.
Now in terms of like the money and stuff, without getting into specifics or anything like that, in terms of TikTok compared to YouTube, because we've seen YouTubers do really well for themselves, even when they hit like 50, 100, 150,000 subscribers, you can make a living. But what about?
Go ahead, finish your
question. Well, I was just gonna say, how does that tie into like TikTok and YouTube? Like, do you notice a huge difference?
Yeah, TikTok doesn't pay like the creators, but they do like they allow all sorts of different like brand deals and stuff, which I mean any platform does, but I make my money right now from brand deals on TikTok. My YouTube channel isn't monetized yet. I only have 3. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours. And I have, I think, 6.5K subscribers. And I have only like 500 watch hours. It's really hard to get those watch hours up for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after I hit 4,000 watch hours, I then go into, I forgot there's some software that YouTube uses to pay you. And it's basically, it depends on how family friendly you are. So someone like, I don't know if you know the Nelk Boys.
Yeah. I was just watching their last video actually when they bought the Rolexes.
So someone like them, they're making nothing, or if they do get monetized, they're making like $1 per 1,000 views. And then you go over to someone like David Dobrik, who's pretty, or I guess he's not the best, probably more like Logan Paul actually now, someone that's a lot more family friendly. He's making more like $3 to $4 per 1,000 views. So the more family friendly you are, and the more people that a video appeals to, and the more people that YouTube can recommend that video, the more money you're going to make. So, I mean, you can make up to $5 per 1,000 views, I think. So that's actual YouTube paychecks. And then you can do your own brand deals on YouTube as well. I know Mr. Beast, he probably makes $250,000 a video just from YouTube. Wow. And then more. Cause I mean, I think he was the only YouTuber in the only YouTuber in 2019 to every one of his videos had over 10 million views. So, wow. And I mean, most of them are more like 20 million views. So if 20 million divided by 1,000 times 5, it's a lot of freaking money. And on top of that, he's getting 100,000 for just to mention a company in a video too.
Wow. So, and like you said, on top of all the brand deals too. And oh, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. And not to mention that he's getting brand deals from YouTube, from TikTok, from Instagram, from Twitter. Every platform is monetized in a different way. And I mean, a brand could be like, hey, we're going to give you $10,000 just to make an Instagram story post on Instagram. And then they could be like, hey, we're going to give you, and then another company could be like, we're going to give you 5,000 to make a post on Twitter, 15,000 to make a post on YouTube. Like it's just all, I mean, there's so many different levels of monetization and brand deals that you can do once you get to that point.
Where do you foresee your platform going? Do you want to eventually branch out to YouTube? Like, I know you're on YouTube, but is that where you kind of want to see your career take off a little bit more with YouTube? Because I know you've done extremely well on TikTok. I'm just curious what your next step would be.
Yeah, well, YouTube, I mean, I'm starting to get paid from Instagram a little bit. People will be like, hey, we're going to give you $50 to post a story or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So I'll do that. Yeah, I mean, I see YouTube. Like, I'm going to, like I said, I'm coaching and I'm not going to school anymore. So after I get done coaching, I think the very end of July, I'm going to go to Dallas to visit one of my buddies. And then I'm going to go to LA and visit one of the guys that I know really well from TikTok. I think his name's actually Crazy Loco Tilly, and he does the long face as well.
Okay.
And he has 600 or almost 700K now, I think, but he has connections to some big people in LA. And so I'm going to try to go there and just make TikToks, YouTube videos, and just focus on that and see how far it'll take me.
Damn. Do you want to, so you're going to be living there then full time when you go over there?
No, I'm going to stay with him for probably like 3 weeks and see what happens.
Cool.
Kind of nice thing. Like if I'm making enough money that I can just stay there, then yeah, I'll stay there. If I'm not, I'll come home and keep making money and then go back and then whatever. I mean, however long it takes.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny too, because I was gonna say you're still so young, and you have like you've got so much time for that. Like, you know, you keep saying like it's I wish I started earlier, but man, you're 20, so you've got, and you're already, like Mike said, you've already got a good head on your shoulders, and you're putting out things that people are relating to in terms of emotion. Like, I'm a big like emotion guy. Like, I took psych in university, so I'm all about all that type of shit, and it's just awesome. So it's like it's super cool that you're doing that, and the fact that you already know that like you want to go out there, like go for it. That's so cool.
And like I always say, like, well, my mom actually said this to me the other day. I was like, I'm gonna go to LA for like 2 weeks or a month once baseball season ends, and she was like, well, you're only young once, you might as well. And I've never been outside of the Midwest. I've been all over the place in the Midwest. Like, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa, all the states around me. I've been there hundreds of freaking times for base because I played baseball, so we were going all over the place. I've never been to either of the coast though, and I mean, apart from the content and stuff, I really just want to see California because everyone says how nice it is and how good the weather is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we live in Vancouver, Canada, so we're on the West Coast up here. So we travel once in a while. We'll go down and check out the coast there, but it's beautiful, man. Just being on this side of the continent, man, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I think you're really gonna like it.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah. And I think I'm really gonna. I'm not really the type of guy to like. So here's the issue that I see myself having, which I mean, it's not an issue that I like have in my head that I'm not gonna be able to get over. But the only issue I see myself having is that I'm not really. So I have 800,000 or 850,000 on TikTok. By the time I go there, I'm hoping to have 1 million. I'm not really like. I wouldn't say that I'm like known like some of the guys like that. So I'm basically, if I go to stay with my buddy Tilly, and he introduces me to all these people, I'm not really a guy to kind of like light up the room, like walk into a room and be like, yo, what's up guys? Like, what's up? And make like instant friends like that. It's kind of more like I have to hang out with them 2 or 3, 4 times to kind of make friends and get to know them or whatever. So that's the issue I see having is that I think I'm a really outgoing person, but in groups of intimidating people, you could say, I'm not really like going to light up the room like some people can. But I mean, that's the only issue I would see having. But when I'm with my buddies, it's kind of it'd kind of be a different situation.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think you might even be surprised because I bet you'll see a lot of like-minded people, a lot of guys that are similar to you.
Yeah.
And I think once you get there, I think you'll realize too that, you know what, maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe I don't need to be that guy that walks in and does this, because like, look, you've already got a huge following. You've already established yourself super well. It's just gonna help you grow, right? Even if it takes a little bit longer, I mean, you're gonna be fine regardless.
Yeah. And you said something about like-minded people, and that's really important to me because, like, here, if I was to go up to my buddies that I've been friends with forever and say, hey, I want to record a YouTube video, and this goes back to what I was saying at first, to where they're not really, like, all about it. Like, people that I've known forever don't really even talk to me all that much anymore. I mean, I'm still friends, but they won't be like, hey, let's – like, it's just, like, subtle things that I notice that they don't even notice they're doing kind of thing. But I think that it's really important to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of LA is people are there to make content and to collab and it's just very like-minded to what I want to surround myself with. So that's another big reason. Yeah,
I think Mike's right, man. I think that you just already being like your genuine self, like you don't, I mean, it's cliche, but you just do you, right? I mean, it's going to come out anyways. Like Mike said, you've already got that following from you being you. So I was going to ask next too, like for in terms of that, because you said you wanted to keep doing newer things and keep evolving your content game in that. And I guess, so like, do you do, because I mean, for me, like I've made some TikToks, but like I just like to do certain voice impressions and like, types of that. So like my mass is like 300 on a certain level. Like, do you do like voice impressions or do you do other different things that are like that where you can just like, boom, pop one out in like 10 seconds, see if it blows up?
You're talking about just a random video aside from the long face?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've had a couple of videos. I can actually bark really well, like realistically, like a dog.
That one, yeah.
And I had a couple that blew up doing that. Other than that, I think that I can. It's not really me, but I can do like the fuckboy type videos, like the thirst trap. And I also think that I can recreate other people's skits without the filter. There's a guy named Aaron.ps on TikTok, and he's the most creative. If you don't know who he is, I would highly recommend to go look him up.
Yeah.
And he makes the most creative content I've ever seen. And I really like to recreate his videos as well. So other things like that. But I think for the most part, I mean, when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to recreate other people's things. I always give credit to the people who originally made it. As well as like maybe a little bit of transitions or I kind of just do a little bit of everything besides the long face just to see what happens.
I watched this one that I was like, I honestly think I watched it probably 30 times in a row. The username is TikTok Baddie. I think they're pretty big. I think they have like over a couple million followers. But the video was they were just like gaming. They're having a games night, and then the doorbell rang. And it's funny, when the guy opened the door, there was no one there, but there was like a salesman walking up, and he walks super fast, and he's like, "Sorry, we're having a boys' night," but he shoves them out of his fucking way, and he starts like, he puts the table down, and he's like, it's so fucking funny.
He's got the PowerPoint on. He's like, "Hey, well, this is the next one." They're all like, "What are you doing?"
But it's so stupid because like we're having a boys' night, and he's got a smile on his face, and he walks through the front door like it's just.
I've heard of that account. I've seen it on my For You page before. Yeah.
Well, hey, I was gonna ask too. What would you tell somebody who's just starting out? Let's say they just make a TikTok account and their goal is to hit. I'll just throw it out there. Let's say they want to hit 1 million subs, because you're pretty close to that. What kind of advice would you give that person? Would it be like consistency? Would it be being creative? Would it be just making, I don't know, like what would you recommend?
That is like the most commonly asked question on all the podcasts. Like everyone wants to know all that stuff. It's so hard to give an answer because like I feel like, especially with the way TikTok is now, where there's already these like set in stone creators that are kind of the main creators. I think it's a lot harder now, but I think start a trend is a big thing. Like I started the long face with the mom trend, and then there's a whole bunch of other TikTokers that are famous from it, and people try to recreate it because it's funny. And I think you kind of got to get lucky with that one, but I think that would be my biggest advice. Also, consistency. People give up way too easily. Like, people will post 2 videos in 2 days, and they'll be like, "Fuck, it's not working out." Like, it's just so stupid. I mean, I didn't blow up until, and I knew I wasn't going to say, I'm not going to sound cocky about it, but like I knew I was going to somehow get followers, and it just happened to do that. Because I was going to just post every day and work hard on it. And it's kind of the same.
You're going to be in people's faces no matter what. That's right. So
yeah,
it's kind of going to be the same type of thing with YouTube, to where eventually I'll get to the point where I just keep putting it out, and eventually I'll stay consistent with it. But right now it's really hard because I have baseball. I can't travel. Not a lot of things are opening up. Things are open up around me now, but it's like people are wearing masks. People are all freaked out. So like, it's not really as much content. But yeah, I mean, right now I would say the biggest thing is to either make a trend, be relatable, be funny, or be attractive. Honestly, that's probably one of the biggest things too. Guy or girl, be attractive, and you'll get followers.
Yeah.
I've seen some from just like, it's just like it's a 10-second dance, and I go like, okay, but like, whereas like is that content? I mean, I don't know. I there's some things where I just instantly swipe, away from, and it's like, but I don't know. There was one I was going to ask you about, like going back to the dance thing. So you made this, and I know people listening to the podcast, they won't really see what I'm talking about, but there's this one video you made. There's this girl, and it was this song, and it had like a drop, and she did something with her arm like this, and she moved it back almost, and then you did it too. Like you had like a side by side with her, and then it was like boom. Like what was that? I didn't understand what that was, and like going back to what Benny was saying, like a 10-second dance, I just didn't get it.
So that girl,
I think we're just too old to understand.
Her name is Anna Banana, I think, and she plays soccer, I guess. I don't know her personally, but I always see her, and she's always doing that because she has a big tricep.
Yeah,
she's always doing that, and like everyone's always making, like, dudes with huge triceps are making videos of doing that. So I just kind of made it just for fun. Just for something.
Oh, so that's what it is. It's like
that's awesome.
It's the tricep thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
She flexes so hard in tricep. It's just funny to like make one next to her.
It was just so loud. Like the volume just got so distorted, and I kept watching it because I just kept laughing at it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love those ones. The only other, it's funny because you're saying like the long face, because it's the long face. What is the voice filter on it, Trevor?
It's called vibrato.
Vibrato, yeah, because there's another guy. Have you heard of Brendan Lund on there? Have you seen his videos?
No.
He does the same kind of long face, except with him, it's like, you guys get the thing where you put on this to make it look like a mom, right? I just think that this is fucking hilarious, by the way. But like when you put that on, he does the same thing where he has like his girlfriend. So he'll be talking, but then his girlfriend will be talking too, and it'll just be like she just like they're waking up next to each other in the bed, and she's he's like
that guy.
Yeah, and he's like, "Good morning. How's it? Like, how are you?" And she says, "Good morning, baby," like in the voice. And he goes, "Yep, good morning, sweetheart." And she goes, "Sweetheart? You mean I'm not like your ookie bookie baby bum bum?" And he's just like, "Baby, that's not what I meant." And it's just it goes into that, and she's just like freaking out, like, "You don't love me anymore." It's just like I think you're so right. I think there's such a niche for that, but like if you do, there's so many specific, and you're right. It's that relatable piece that you have obviously found for the certain things, like with your TikToks, and especially with like the dad things, that just makes it to like, yeah, I'll watch that fucking 50 times in a row, because it's just, even like that you said before, like I will literally listen to that one video because of the Kahoot sound. Like that, I don't know if I'm just fucked, but that to me is just, it's so funny, and the distorted laughing just makes it like,
I get that so awesome. Much that people pick out one word that they love. I also say today, I go today, and people love that. And I don't know why. It's just like it's so random, but I guess it's kind of more of like a meme. So people, it's funny to people.
Well, it's funny because you're like, instead of grandpa, you're like, it's grandpa. Like it's so pronounced. Like it's just,
Yeah, exactly. I love doing that type of stuff. I think like it's so important. Like when people are looking, just scrolling through their For You page and a video pops up and it's like random or gets your attention, I think people will watch just to see like what it is. So when I say that at the very beginning, it gets more people watching all the way through, which helps the algorithm.
Yeah.
So there's hashtags that you put on every single one of them. So like you'll put For You page.
All I do on all my videos is put hashtag FYP.
FYP, yeah.
And once hashtags help when you're like 100, 200, 300 followers. But once you get bigger, hashtags don't mean anything except for, because you got to think, how many views is a hashtag going to get you? Like 50 max. So like when you're smaller and you're only getting 100 views, that's 50%, or that's 150% more than what you would have been getting. Yeah. But when I'm that big, I just put For You page, and basically what happens is you put that because if you have a video get like 10 million likes for some random reason, then you'll be on the top of that hashtag. So every time someone clicks the hashtag FYP hashtag, you see your video first, and that will get millions of more views if you're the very top of that hashtag.
Right. Okay. And that was hashtag FYP you're using?
Yes, just FYP, the 3 letters.
So you don't need, so less is more basically is what you're saying. You don't really need.
And also the caption, if you put a lot of hashtags, the caption rises up too much from the bottom, and it kind of like takes your attention off the video. So I try to just make it one line. So I'll do my title, and then I'll just do hashtag FYP because it's only 3 letters.
Interesting.
Getting the insider tips now.
Yeah. Watch us blow
awesome.
up, man.
Do it.
We'll be joining you in LA.
There you go.
My other question is because obviously you're from St. Louis, and it's interesting because we were just chatting beforehand about like sports and hockey and things like that apart from TikTok. So like, are you like, is there a specific sport? Like, are you a Blues fan? Or are you a Cardinals fan? Or are you into the major sports?
Yeah, Cardinals 100%.
Big time Cardinals.
I'm like I'm a Blues fan. I don't watch hockey necessarily that much, and I'm a Cardinals fan, but I just like baseball. I mean, even if we get beat and it's a good game, I just like watching good baseball. And I'll root for anyone. I really like the Astros. Even after, I still think their dudes are still dope. And I mean, no matter whether they were cheating or not, like, because I've played baseball at a high level in college and stuff. And I mean, even if I knew that a certain pitch was coming on good pitchers, it would help me maybe 2 times. Like not even maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's still,
you're still having to make the decision to swing or not, like within a split second. Like a drum beating is not going to make Trevor either swing and miss or hit a home run. Like,
yeah. But I mean, it does give you an advantage, especially when you're major here, but it's not as much as people really think it is.
Right. Yeah.
But I really like the Astros. I like the Brewers. The only team I really don't like is the Cubs, just because it's a rivalry and because I don't really like. I don't know. I've never really liked their uniforms, their stadium, like anything like that. Yeah. But other than that, I just love watching baseball. But yeah, I mean, my main team is the Cardinals.
Nice.
Cardinals are it's so bad because ever since like COVID hit, I haven't really been paying attention much to sports, but I was up to date on all the sports. Like St. Louis is an NL team, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you like I always like to ask people this for fans of NL teams, but do you notice the difference between like AL ball and NL ball? Because I remember years ago, it always kind of seemed like NL ball was a bit more 2-1, 3-2 kind of games, whereas AL games, because I mean, Toronto Blue Jays, right? It would always be like Toronto versus Boston. It'd be like a 15-14 game, whereas like, you know, like, do you notice a difference?
Yeah, I think it's more hitters, and I think it's also salary caps. Like teams in the AL tend to be from the coasts.
Yeah.
So like you're talking about like Yankees, not really the Orioles, but like the Yankees, the Twins, teams like that have I'm trying to think of other teams that have, I mean, the Dodgers are in the NL, but they have a huge salary cap. I think it's
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
The Angels kind of, I mean, they have Rendon, Trout, Pujols, Calhoun. I mean, all those type guys that are studs, and even though they're not very good, I think it's still hitters and salary caps and all that type stuff. I mean, Stanton went from the Twins to the Yankees.
It's insane.
Dude, that guy running around the bases looks like he's gonna rip through his uniform. Like he's just a tank. Like,
isn't he like 270 pounds or something? Like 260 pounds?
Yeah, he's just ripped. Like he's just.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, like, with the NL. So is the only real difference in terms of rules just that the pitcher hits and that they can put a pinch hitter in if they want? Is that the only real thing?
Yeah, well, yeah. In the NL, the pitcher hits, which they're probably going to take out soon because, you know, I mean, it's all about, like, making money, and people don't want to see the normal out, I guess, every time they want to see another big hitter in the lineup. Just
no one wants to see Kershaw go up to bat 3 times a game. So.
But there is also something to be said for real baseball fans when they see a pitcher hit a home run.
That's pretty sick.
It's a pretty cool moment.
What about what's his name from the Mets a couple of years ago where he hit that? He hit the grand slam.
Right?
No, it was the
Bartolo Colon.
Colon. Didn't he hit a grand slam? This is like going back like 5-6 years ago.
It was a solo home run. It was at Petco Park. It was the only
big sexy.
Yeah, it was the only home run of his career.
And it was it a walk-off? Was it a walk-off?
I think it was just a regular home run. It was just
that's insane.
But everyone like cleared the dugout. It was so fun to watch. and yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that too, because real baseball fans appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Then it makes you appreciate just like how well he's respected too and liked in the dugout when he does that, and you get the whole team that just basically like comes out. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it really is.
For the Cup, Trevor, like, did you get down there for any of those like playoff games, or were you did you experience like that atmosphere? Or?
Yeah, we went, like I said, I think I said at the beginning, I went to Game 7, at the Scott Trade Center, and the Game 7 was in Boston, but they did a watch party, and it was so fun. The atmosphere was insane to be in there. I mean, it was rocking. And then, I mean, me and my buddies went down we have this thing called Ballpark Village. With the Cardinals and the Blues work really well together. The owners are really good friends, and they do everything together. So, like, they opened up Busch Stadium. They opened up the Cardinals. They have, like, it's actually cool. We have, like, a hotel that's owned by the Cardinals. It's right over, like, in left center that you can see the games from. And then there's, like, stadium seating on top of the hotel, and there's, like, bars and food and, like, indoor batting cages and like all sorts of cool stuff. It's like a little carnival type thing for baseball. So they opened that up for the Blues, and me and my buddies went down every game for that, home or away, because I wasn't going to pay $500 for tickets, but I wanted to be down. So I mean, it was awesome, especially because it was our first one.
Yeah, of course, that's awesome. And in terms of like, and getting back to like you playing, like, what position did you play in ball? I
played center field.
Center field, yeah.
Cool.
Nice. You were the Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar.
I love Kevin Pillar. Really,
he was the Superman.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Kevin Pillar is a really good player. I like watching him in the outfield.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Benny, did you want to? I know we were gonna do the would you like to just the last little part. Did you want to add anything before we go into that, or were we?
No, I just think that it's really cool getting someone that's just, again, Trevor, he's being so genuine for everything that you've shared with us today. And, we all know that our time is valuable, especially with this grinding too. I mean, I guess the last thing too is, Mike and I are just trying to grind the podcast game out too, right? And it can be hard to find the time, right? Like, my wife and I just recently moved into a house, gym's back up and on. I'm trying to get into the gym more and make that a thing. And with work, like, it's been pretty big for government for me. And then, Mike and I go into podcasting. It seems like the time really starts to run out for the day. So I guess the last question I kind of had was just in terms of making that, like, for you, like the grinding game, like how do you, and I guess this is more advice for me, how do you set it up where, like, because you were telling me before when we were texting, like, you'll do like 6 to 10, you'll be doing TikToks. After that, you're responding to email. Like, how do you make sure that you're, doing enough time for there? But then, because obviously it seems like family and friends are also so really important. So how do you balance your schedule?
Yeah, well, I think, I try to wake up at a reasonable time, even though I'm way more productive at night. I don't know if I told you that. I think I kind of talked about that when we were texting. I love staying up late. I like being alone and not necessarily alone, but I feel like I'm more creative when I'm alone late at night because everyone else is asleep.
Yeah.
And it's just more of I would rather be up late at night than early in the morning for me. And that's just me. But I guess in the day I try to wake up. I usually stay up till like 3 a.m. and I'm usually doing stuff that whole time. Like I'm making TikToks or for the next day or doing whatever. And then I will I try to go to the gym right when I wake up because, I still work out and do all that stuff. I love working out, actually. That's one of my favorite things to do right now. I feel like it really makes you concentrate better. It puts your mind at ease type thing. Like
your confidence goes through the roof. I mean, that's a big thing for me, right?
Exactly, and it starts your day well. Any anxiety or anything that's like going on with the day or whatever, like it just helps out with all that so much. And then like it's always kind of random. I've found now after that because it's so weird too because some days I'll have like 4 DMs and 3 emails about like we want to give you this amount of money to do this and like and then I got to decide that day. So like that's happened like 5 or 6 times where it's just like all of a sudden one day it's like 6 companies are DMing me asking to do a brand deal or whatever, and then it'll be like 2 weeks without anything. So it's really like weird and up and down, and I think that also has to do with like companies not wanting to spend as much money on influencers right now because of this, because they're not making as much money because of the virus and stuff. But I think it just depends on the day. I'll work out. I coach a baseball team, so I'll usually have a game or a practice every day, so I'll go do that. And some days most times when I have off, I try to do things with YouTube. Like, and most of the YouTube videos that I filmed, I haven't even posted because I don't think they're good enough. And like the one when I gave that $1,000 away, I hated that video when I watched it, but I posted anyway because I gave $1,000 away. So I didn't want to ruin that one. But other things like that. I'll just look for things to do, think a lot about TikToks to post. I don't know. I still just randomly go hit, but I would say a normal day is like I wake up at like 11 and then I kind of just like lay around. I usually check to see how my stuff's doing for like 30 minutes, like everything, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Facebook.
We do the same thing, just not as much as you. Like we're still checking things, but like, that we didn't get 50,000 things overnight. We're like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah. And it's not as much as like you would think. It's more guys and like I get so many DMs on Instagram of people just saying hi, and I'm just like, I will never answer that. I don't know why people just say hi. Unless it's like something, some kind of like famous person or something just wanting to say something. But I'll go through those and I'll respond. Sometimes I usually always respond to the really positive DMs, and then like do things. It's kind of crazy like when you get into it because you feel like you have to have an Instagram picture like 3 times a week. You have to have like 4 TikToks a day. You have to have 2 YouTube videos a week. You have to check all this. And it actually gets, when those companies email you like that, or I do almost everything with brands through DMs because I just never really check my email. But when I get DMs like that, it gets kind of overwhelming because then I'm like, okay, well, which ones can I do and where can I line them up and who's giving the best price and which company wants to work like more long term? Because I would prefer doing 5 videos for like I would charge like say just for example, and this is not what I would make, but say for example, someone wanted one video for like $200 or $500, but then they want to do, and then another company wants to do 7 videos for like $3,000. I would rather work long term with them and like feel like I trust their product and stuff, and like where I can really believe in it, rather than just do one video for a company that I'm just going to do one time and then never think about it again type thing.
Yeah, I mean, you want someone to invest in you as much as you're investing in them, right? It's all about that respect and that loyalty, right? It's like exactly, and you know, and you're trying to make yourself like an invaluable commodity, right? You like, and you want to be, you know, up in people's faces and make sure, right? So
and that's what I'm saying. I just want to make sure that I don't really like to turn anyone down, because where I am at right now, I mean, I make enough money that I could probably live on my own, but like LA is a lot more expensive and travel and all that. So I want to save for that. Even though I'm not going to be paying rent, I'm just going to be staying with him, but you got to like think about food and gas and whatever else. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I try to get the best deals and save most of that for right now. And then I also do random things to where it's like, I will do like a fundraiser for like that guy. Like I think I raised $700, then I just wanted it to be an even 1,000. So I gave 300 of my own, or like 800, I think. And then just random stuff like that I'll just think of, and then I'll just post it and see what happens and stuff like that. So,
but stuff like that is going to speak volumes for you in the future too. Like, so you're setting yourself up in such a way now that, and you're doing it just because you're a generous person and it's just who you are. And it's going to carry over throughout, like you're 20, man, like give yourself like a few more, no, you didn't probably need a few more years. You probably just need 3 more months. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to be laughing, man.
Exactly. But it is hard when I'm 20 and I dropped out of college and I live at home to like prove to my parents that I'm not like a bum. You know what I mean? But they see that I'm making money now. I mean, once I started buying like, and also another thing that I didn't really mention that I'll just kind of mention briefly is that like when you do this, there's kind of almost, at least to me, and I see this as an important thing, is having nice clothes, nice shoes, good camera quality, stuff like that, because you're portraying yourself as an influencer. So you kind of have to look the part. And I guess the stereotype of an influencer is to look that part, and not really more YouTube or TikTok, more like Instagram, because I feel like Instagram is more formal. So I try to wear nice clothes, nice shoes, stuff like that in those. And I mean that a lot of the stuff isn't cheap, especially shoes. So they saw that I was buying nice stuff like that. And like this computer that I'm on right now, I had to buy that. I got this like $200 ring light tripod setup. My camera setup was well over 2,000. All that type of stuff. So
that's that circle thing you have that you recorded where it makes like your eyes, you can see like the white ring in your eyes. Is that what you're talking about? I was always wondering what that was.
This thing.
Okay.
And it actually gets really bright. It was like the nicest one I could find, but I keep getting like these little cheap ones, and this is a piece of crap. So I just wanted to get a nice one that I could always use. But these are good for like just random videos because it's not as hefty and stuff.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man. Cool. All right, Trevor. Well, we always like to kind of like to end our podcasts with a question to the guest, and it's always usually a would you rather. That's kind of what we like to do. So I'm going to pose a would you rather to you. I don't want to put you on the spot. This is a really difficult one, so you might need to use Google for this one, or you might need to really dig into your brain power. So whenever you're ready, just let me know and we'll go ahead. Okay.
All right, I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so Trevor, would you rather smoke Smarties or would you rather take up vaping for the rest of your life?
Smoke Smarties. That's like a difficult question because I used to, I don't know how, I play baseball, so I dip before. And I dip like sometimes. And so used to, I mean, it was like the cool thing when jewels were first around and stuff like that, like to do that. And so I did jewel for a little bit, and I would go work out and I would be wheezing, like, and I just could not take it anymore. I was like, if I can't even work out doing this, like, what's the point? So I kind of just stopped. I mean, I wasn't even really addicted to it, but I kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not really worth it. But I feel like Smarties isn't actually doing anything to you.
Well, I think Smarties is good too, because then after you're done, you have something to eat, right? Like it's there.
Yeah,
it's
like a pixie stick. Once you grind them up and smoke them, it's just like granulated sugar.
Exactly. And that's funny because that video you made with the Smarties, and that's another thing you do, those rants. Oh my God, they kill me.
Yeah, and the reactions. Yeah. I get a lot of inspiration from this guy named Joe Bartazzoli, who I don't know if you know who he is, but he's also another guy that I would recommend that you look up. And he got really fat. I think he has 1.8 million now, and he's gone up like 1.5 million in like less than a month. And I talked to him.
Wow.
He actually followed me first because he thought my videos were funny, and then he blew up. And I get a lot of inspiration from him from those. And I think that's also going back to what I said. That's another good thing to get your actual face and personality on camera rather than a filter and a skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome because it kind of puts your brand out there and it forces your audience to get to know you. Yeah. And then, like you said, once you develop on TikTok, it's different than Instagram, YouTube, and even Twitter too. Twitter is its own beast as well, I'm sure. Are you on Twitter too?
I am, but I just started a new Twitter because I've had that Twitter forever, and people started following me from TikTok on Twitter, and I didn't want them to see just like pictures of anything that I didn't want them to see or tweets from a long time ago. Because even
we're seeing that happen right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially.
I don't know how like familiar you guys are with like American politics, but if you said one thing that someone doesn't agree with, you are like banned from the internet forever.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Cancel culture is huge right now, and it's funny too because even up here in Canada, we see American politics more so than Canadian politics with everything that's going on. Like it's the norm now.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy right now. And if you say one thing that if you're on either side, 50% of people don't agree with you automatically. I mean, there's not a right side.
No, it doesn't matter. You say something, and again, like you can make the most perfect, succinct argument for something and be talking to someone about something. And no matter how well you put it and how good you make yourself look, someone's going to go, yeah, but, it doesn't matter. So
exactly. No one's going to just agree.
Yeah. Trevor, I noticed that you got really luscious locks.
Yeah.
Can you give us your routine on how you keep that hair so nice and firm and fresh?
Well, I've always hated my hair's really thin and like my hairline's pretty bad.
Oh yeah. No, it's not that bad, man. It's not that bad. You got it's like the Harry Styles thing going on. I like it.
Actually, if you pull it back again, you might be able to do like a De Niro, like kind of.
No, it looks good. Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
Might be able to, but yeah, I've always had that bad hairline, so I've always done things with my hair to like make it kind of cover it up, and I've always had my hair like down over.
Yeah.
But I used to have just like long, like almost like a flow in the back like baseball players have when I was playing. And then I actually had one of my baseball buddies, worst mistake of my life. I had one of my baseball friends cut my hair like because I wanted it short on the sides and in the back and long on the top like it is now. Yeah. And I had one of my baseball friends do it, and it was the absolute worst thing I've ever done. I mean, I was like bald in some spots. But so then I let it grow out for like a month, and I had my hair lady come fix it, and I've liked it ever since. I was actually supposed to get a haircut today, and I wasn't able to. But I usually have it a lot shorter on the sides and the back. And I think it kind of fits. Like, I don't really copy people, and I like to be myself, but I also take really big – I also study people that are successful in what I'm trying to do a lot. And I think that – I mean, it's just a hairstyle, but to me, I kind of mimic people that are successful and styles that I like and styles that work for me. So that was kind of – I actually just did this. My hair was really long like 6 months ago, and I put it on the sides and stuff.
It's kind of like a longer, darker version of Logan Paul. He's got kind of like that blonde. Yeah. It's like a quiff almost, kind of similar to what you've got, but yours is a little bit longer.
Yeah. And I like people that have the perms, but I don't think that's really my style. I've thought about it before, but I don't think I would. And now I just put a little bit of hairspray in it, and it kind of just stays there.
It's awesome. I like it. Yeah. Well, I thank you for giving us some hair tips. It's always good here on our podcast, we're accepting of all tips of all sizes. We really appreciate it. Everything but the tip. So we really do sincerely appreciate that. Trevor, we really want to thank you again for basically coming onto our podcast today. I know, like I said, we're a small but growing podcast. So we're going to slowly get there. And by you coming on, that's phenomenal. And it really speaks volumes to your character and to you as a content creator. And for someone who recognizes that you have to start somewhere to get somewhere. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
And we really value that. And we really appreciate that. And I know Ben and I were talking about it before. And for someone as young as you are and to be wise amongst your years, we really appreciate you coming on today and for taking the time to be a part of this little show.
No problem. I love doing as much of this stuff as I can. And I mean, like, I'm a guy with baseball. I was always just like this, but now I just like to learn as much as I can, even from anyone. Like, I just like to talk about it and learn and pick people's brains. And I mean, 100%. if you were around me during baseball, like, you probably wouldn't like me because I would just be asking. But I feel like I'm really smart and have a lot of common sense because of it now. I was going to ask one more thing. I guess who else have you had on that anyone I would know?
I don't know if he's gonna know this guy, but I'll let you say it.
Okay, so you watch a lot of Netflix, I'm presuming?
Yeah, a little bit.
So there's a documentary called Behind the Curve, and it's a flat Earth documentary, and it's like a whole. It goes into the flat Earth community and about how all these guys believe in flat Earth, and it's fascinating because these guys truly believe that. Yeah. And we actually had the main guy off the documentary. His name was Mark Sargent, and we had him on last week, and we talked to him about his beliefs and what he was talking about.
Yeah,
it was unreal.
It was great, and like I mean, especially for his niche, where like probably 0.1% of the world believes what he believes. Like, he has close to almost 100,000 subscribers now on YouTube, and he was like the main guy of this like documentary. You can go look it up right now. He's like talking every 5 minutes. And if anything, you know, some people were like, you know, like, oh, well, you know, like, do you guys believe in that or this? And it was like, you know what, like, regardless of the fact if we believe it or not, it actually made for a really cool conversation, you know? And like, it was just really, sorry?
That would be interesting too. What'd you say the guy's name was?
Mark Sargent.
Oh,
MARK.
Okay, so he's what is he, like 40, 50?
Yeah, I'd say he's in his early 50s, probably.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I at least I don't think Mike can probably agree, but I didn't agree with anything he was saying, but it was an interesting conversation. You know, he had, you know, we would always kind of try to maybe trip him up on something just to be like, okay, well, what about this? And there was always something he had in his back pocket to say.
Just like about politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Right. So it was really interesting. We've had some other people on.
And
we're just continuing.
No,
you're the first. I actually have been in contact with, do you know Nick Smerglio? Have you seen that guy on TikTok? He does the Christopher Walken and Tony Soprano impressions.
No, I don't.
He's got about, oh my God, I think he's around 100,000. Yeah, and something like that. And he's getting close, pretty big, or not big, but like he's getting bigger. And he said he wants to come on too. And just like we just want to keep having all sorts of people on too, right? We got up here in Canada for our sports radio. We have Mike found a guy from sports radio that's going to be coming on to chat with us too about like.
So how do you do that? Do you just copy and paste a DM, or do you write a tailored DM to each person?
So, we're tailoring almost everything to everyone. Yeah.
When I was younger, and like, let's say I just wanted to talk to people, I would always copy paste stuff, and then I would just send it, and I was finding I wasn't getting responses. But now it's more of, you know what, I'll take the time. We'll take each person that we want to talk to, and we'll actually discuss it before we send the DM or we send the message, and we'll tailor it. Like you said, we'll tailor it to that person because we want them to understand that we're genuine and that we actually want to have a conversation with them, and that we want them to be as comfortable as possible rather than just, hey, we like you, here's our stuff, come on our show. It's like, no. Because
anyone that receives that, like, it's not personable, and it's it's just more for, like, for them. It has nothing to do with you responding back. It's like, like when we reach out to you, it's like, we were being sincere with what we said. Like I'm a type of person that, like, when I say something, like, I mean it, right? And I back that up. So when we reach out to people, that's kind of our game, right? That our stamp is to have that integrity and to mean what we say, right? So
that's why I answered too, because you were saying something about, like, my videos and, like, you obviously knew who I was or whatever. How'd you guys find me in the first place? Just on the For You page?
Oh my God. I think I just happened upon, it was just one of the ones. I think it was first a Hey Mom one, but it was when I looked, I clicked it because I just thought it was fucking hilarious. And then I clicked your profile, and then I just started scrolling through all of them. And it was just like, the relatableness. And then just for me, I don't know if I'm just stupid, but, like, the sounds that are being made, I just find them to be like, I could just listen to that for hours, right? And so I started just like, this is awesome. But I said to Mike as well, and, like, we're not as massive as you, but I feel like at the same time, like, we both are kind of in the mindset of, like, of kind of on that grind and want to do something where, like, maybe a lot of people don't think it can be done, but, like, the fact that, I think our similarities are that we're willing to try anything and willing to reach out and to make stuff, right? And that's how you grow, right? So
exactly. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. People give up way too easily. I mean, I'm pretty sure I read a story about how David Dobrik. You guys know David Dobrik, right? I've brought him up before.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was actually watching an interview with him. And he said that he moved to LA with his best friend, and he had, like, 50,000 subscribers on YouTube and was barely even making any money yet. And within 2 months of being there, he was making $260,000 a week. And
what?
So, like, and you can look it up. Just look up David Dobrik, I guess maybe LA story or whatever. And he was like, I was making $260,000 a week for, like, 2 months straight, and I didn't even know what to do with myself. And he was just saying that he was buying a bunch of dumb shit because he had never seen that type of money.
So so you said he had 50,000 subscribers when he got there?
It was something like that. I think I watched this like 2 months ago. I wasn't 100% sure about how many he had, but I know he kind of went there not knowing what was going to happen type thing, just to try it out. So, I mean, you never know. Like, when you're about to give up, it could be that next week that you're making $260K.
That's insane.
I've been through so much. I mean, I'm not going to get into specific, but I know from myself and Mike, we've been through a lot, and especially for me, I've been through a lot of shit in early times of life, a lot of death in the families, and I know now that, like, I used to get really sad with things if it was, like, either to do with that or things were just experiencing lots of like adversity. Like, I know now that, like, what's the alternative, right? So either you can complain about it and be sad and give up, or say, fuck that, take that as, ammunition and do your best with it, right? What's the alternative, right? It doesn't accomplish anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. People just give up too easily. I mean, if I would have given up, I did kind of give up for a while. Like I said, I was doing just random TikToks with my girlfriend and my buddies, getting like 150 views, and then I stopped doing TikTok for a while, for probably like 2 months actually. And then I started back up again, and then I took off like 2 weeks later. And so, I mean, it ended up working out for me. And, I'm on the road to 1 million right now. That's like, we're going to pop champagne.
You're going to get there, man. You're going to be popping bottles for sure. Yeah.
Well, we'll pop it over here for you, man. We'll definitely celebrate on our end.
And I'll be a part of history on your channel once you
guys.
Absolutely.
That's
Maybe you'll
awesome,
come back
man.
on when you're massive. Don't forget about us, and we'll have you back on.
Yeah, you can actually come visit us here in Canada, man. Once COVID's done, come on up.
Yeah, hey, I'll already be on the West Coast. I'll just drive right up there.
There you go.
If they open up the border,
might have to do that, or we can come down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
You should go LA. Obviously, hit up LA, and then once you're with all the fancy friends, you can come up and visit us. But go through Seattle first. Honestly, if you haven't been to Seattle yet, I would for sure go to Seattle. Is absolutely gorgeous before you come up to Vancouver, because Seattle, it's just beautiful.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta catch a Seattle Mariners game while you're there too. Oh, you're a big baseball guy.
Before you go to bed tonight, look up Safeco Field. Like, just look up Safeco Field and how gorgeous it is. Like, I mean, I know that the St. Louis Park is, but Seattle, when you go to Seattle, there's the first time I ever went to Seattle Mariners game, when I walked up the steps and I saw the field up where it was, like, I was I was blown away. I'm like, it's such oh my God.
That's like stuff that I look up. Actually, I've seen all about that field and how cool it is. I just watched random like documentaries. I had a lot of guys that were my age that I played against and with that got drafted, and they did like documentary type things about them. And I actually had a guy that we always played against named Jared Kelenic got drafted there, and they did a I think he was like 6th overall, and they did a huge documentary about him visiting the field for the first time and all that. So I've seen that field.
Wow.
The one field that I think, if you've never been to, you got to go to is Miami's new field. It's like a work of art. I've toured it twice, and it is like a work of art. It's so cool. Like even the backstop, like, I don't know if you know, but the backstop behind the catcher all the way around is a fish tank. It's so cool.
That's right. Yeah. And if you hit a home run, is it Tampa Bay or is it Miami where you hit a home run, it can go into like an aquarium, like a tiny little like pool? Or is that?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's Tampa Bay, Diamondbacks. There's a lot of people that have that, I think.
That's crazy.
No, I think Tampa Bay has the Stingrays, actually.
I think the Rays have. Yeah.
Does is it the Miami stadium that has the pool, or is that the Jacksonville, the NFL team?
Miami has a pool.
It has a pool too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we visited it. Yeah, it has a pool and a hot tub actually for some reason.
So how does that work? Like, do you just show up with like a pair, like you just
basically you just go to like Miami Marlins or whatever ballpark you want to tour, and there'll be stadium tours. They're like $10.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nothing. I think it's just a really good way to get the fans involved. And I mean, I think it's really low cost for them. They're paying someone $30 an hour to go show like a group of 10 people around. So I mean, it's low cost and it gets the fans involved, I guess.
Good money for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stuff.
Yeah. All right, Trevor. Well, thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, once again, thank you, Trevor, for joining us on the Cider Ranch podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Ben.
And I'm Trevor.
And there you go. We got Trevor. He's our third guy. We're ready to roll.
Wait, can we get Trevor to say it with us? Can we get Trevor to say we're still getting our feet wet with us?
Yeah. So another thing we do, Trevor, is we always we've done like 16 episodes. I think this is episode 16, right, Ben?
Yep, 16.
So every episode in our first episode, we said, we're still getting our feet wet. Like, we're still learning, blah, blah, blah. And we found ourselves, we kept saying that all the time, every episode. And
so people want us to stop saying it, but now we're not going to.
Yeah, people were like, hey, just a word of advice. Like, maybe stop saying, and maybe don't keep saying, like, you're still learning and you're getting your feet wet. And then Ben and I were like, well, no, we're going to keep saying it now because it bothers you. So now that's our thing. It's like, we're still getting our feet wet. So,
all right.
On the count of three, that's how we're going to end this podcast. Okay, so we're all going to say it.
Done.
So,
So once again, we want to thank. Yep. So once again, we want to thank Trevor for coming on and dipping into one more little Cider Ranch. And 1, 2, 3, we're still getting our feet wet.
I don't know if it's delayed or anything.
It's good.
It's all good.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Trevor.
All right, man. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.